Hello everyone, Paul here from Fixing Foundations. In this video I will be talking about which numbers can be evenly divided by 4, which is the same thing as saying which numbers can be divided by 4 without leaving a remainder or a decimal value. And the rule is that a number can be divided by 4 without leaving a remainder if its last two digits are a multiple of 4. So if we are able to divide the last 4 digits of a number by 4 without leaving a remainder, then we can divide that entire number by 4 without leaving a remainder. And this might not seem too useful for numbers, for two-digit numbers that have a higher value. So if we had something like 88, right, and we wanted to divide this by 4, we wanted to know if it would evenly divide. It might not seem that useful. And for this, I want to give a tip, and that would be to think in increments of 20. So think 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. Just think of these increments of 20 here, and all of these increments of 20 are divisible by 4. In fact, all increments of 20 are divisible by 4. So when you're given a number like 88, you can look at these increments of 20 and see where it falls the closest. In this case, it would be 80, so we would take 80, and we could count up by 4 at this increment. So 80 would become 84, and then it would become 88. And therefore, we actually know that 88 is evenly divisible by 4 because we took a multiple of 4, we took 80, and we counted up by 4. So let's just do the division just so that you can very clearly see the division process. It shouldn't take very long. We just put 4 over here, we put 88 over here. 4 will go into 8 twice, and 2 times 4 will equal 8. 8 minus 8 equals 0, and we drop down the 8. 4 will go into 8 2 times, and 2 times 4 equals 8. We subtract these and they cancel out. And our final answer is going to be 22. 88 divided by 4 equals 22. Now, let's say we had a number like 76, and we wanted to see if this is evenly divisible by 4. Well, we would take a similar process. 76 is very close to 80, so we could put 80 here. And in this case, we could actually count down by 4. So 80 minus 4 would equal 76. And because we counted down by 4, we still are left with a multiple of 4. And we actually know that 76 is evenly divisible by 4. Again, I will just do the division process just so that you can see it clearly. So we take this, we leave 4 here, we put 76 here. 4 will go into 7 once, and 1 times 4 equals 4. 7 minus 4 equals 3. We drop down the 6, and 4 will go into 36 9 times. 9 times 4 equals 36, and these will cancel. And our final answer here is 19. Now, what if we had something, say we had something more like, let's say 46. right? And we wanted to see if 4 could evenly divide into 46. Well, 46 is very close to 40, so that is the interval of 20 that we will choose. We will put 40 here. So we would add 4 to it. That would give us 44. And if we were to add 4 to it again, we would get 48. So we were basically counting up by intervals of 4. But you'll actually see here that 46 falls in between 44 and 48. It would be in between these two numbers. So we actually know, because of that, that 46 is not an interval. It is not a multiple of 4, because we would have 40 would become 44, and then it would become 48, and we are not able to get 46 from counting up by 4 from 40. So we know this isn't going to work. We will not be able to evenly divide 46 by 4. I would like to try another example with you. Let's say we had 52, right? And we wanted to see if this was evenly divisible by 4. There could be a couple ways we could do this. 52 is pretty close to 40, but it is a little closer still to 60. So we'll choose 60 for this. So we'll take 60 and we'll count down by 4 to see if we can get to 52. 60 would become 56, and then it would become 52, because 60 minus 4 equals 56, and 56 minus 4 equals 52. And we can actually see here that 52 is an interval of, well, it's a multiple of 4. So we know that it will evenly divide. And now we just do the division. So we take 52, we take 4, 4 will go into 5 once, 5 minus 4 equals 1, we drop down the 2, 4 will go into 12 3 times, and 4 times 3 equals 12, these cancel, and we are left with 13 as our final answer. Now, let's choose a larger number. This is where the rule becomes more useful still. Let's say we had 236. Will this evenly divide by 4? Well, let's go back up to the rule. And the rule says that we only have to look at the last 2 digits of the number to know if it is evenly divisible by 4. So we look at 3 and we look at 6. So is 36 evenly divisible by 4? Let me go back up to this rule. When I said last 2 digits are a multiple of 4 here, what I meant is, does it mean when you take the last 2 digits at face value? So we're going to look at 36. We're not going to look at 3 and 6, just to clarify what was meant by that description of the rule. I just wanted to make sure that was very clear. So we would look at 36, right? That's the number in question. Is 36 a multiple of 4? Well, let's find out. We're going to take those increments of 20, and 36 is very close to 40. So we'll take 40 and we'll count down by 4 to see if we can get to 36. And 40 minus 4 actually does equal 36. So we know that 236 is evenly divisible. by 4. So let's do the division. So we have 4, we have 236. 4 can't go into 2, but it can go into 23 5 times. So I'm going to leave a 0 here to indicate that it couldn't go into 2, but it could go into 23 5 times. And 5 times 4 equals 20. We subtract 20 from 23. We are left with 3. And we drop a 6. 4 can go into 36 9 times. And 9 times 4 equals 36. These cancel. And we are left with 59 as our final answer. Now let's try another large number. Let's try something like 186. Will this evenly divide by 4? Let's see the last 2 digits. Let's see 86. Is 86 evenly divisible by 4? So 86, that's very close to 80. So we'll start with 80 because that is the increment of 20 that is closest to. And we'll try counting up by 4. So 80 becomes 84, and then it becomes 88. And you can actually see 86 would fall in between these values. It does not actually exist as a multiple of 4. So we know that this will not evenly divide. 186 is not evenly divisible by 4 because 86 is not evenly divisible by 4. And I would like to do one more example with you. We'll do an even larger number still. Let's say we had something like 2,548. So a pretty large number, but again, we only have to look at the 2 digits. So we're only really looking at 48 to see if we can determine if this is evenly divisible by 4. And if 48 is evenly divisible by 4, then 2,548 will also be evenly divisible by 4. And looking at our increments of 20, we can see that 48 is pretty close to 40. So we put 40 here. We'll count up by 4. This will create 44. And it will then create 48. And we can see that 48 is a multiple of 4. So all that's left for us to do is the division. So let's do that. So we have 4 here. We have 2,548 here. 4 can't go into 2, but it can go into 25 6 times. And 4 times 6, that is going to equal 24. 25 minus 24 equals 1. And we drop the 4. 4 can go into 14 3 times. And 3 times 4 equals 12. We subtract 12 from 14, we get 2. Finally, we drop an 8. 4 can go into 28 7 times. And 7 times 4 equals 28. And when we subtract these, they cancel. And we are left with 637 as our final answer. I forgot to write that we were trying to divide this by 4. But you can see that 637 is our final answer. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please leave the video a like. If you would like to see more tutorials related to mathematics, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you're looking for online tutoring, check the description of this video. You may find something useful.